Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome to Panelists' favorite show, two in a row. Tonight, it's all about those albums that, for some reason or another, which our panelists will reveal, uh, have that chilling factor, that, I don't know, something that comes over you. Your skin seems to raise. Something comes over you that makes your hair stand on end. It's an energy, all right. It's the albums that give us goosebumps. We continue our October festivities here, but this one can go many different ways because Goosebumps are given in all kinds of different fashions for all kinds of different folks. Well, in actuality, there are 62 of those books and a total of, I think, 230 spinoffs. Yeah. Now that I mentioned that, I probably have to pay R.L. Stein for this show. I don't know. But so tonight's Slappy Halloween panelists on the show say cheese dip and die happy. Mr. Jeff Young, Night of the Living Dummy, Alex Kalisny. It was a shocker on Shakedown Street. Grateful dude. Well, my good friend Slappy, Steve Scouton. We'd have a cuckoo clock of doom in our house, but she's not a TikTok kind of person. Susie Q.
And
that's
They're getting bad.
that'll do us. Thank God no one else showed up, right? Okay.
oh, thank God I don't hear another dad joke intro. Holy shit.
So last time we did this, it was the albums that scare the shit out of us. And I think it was just Sue and myself. It's nice that we got a little bit more on the crew. I want to see how this goes. This will be interesting. So we'll just go around. You can give your number 5, and then we'll go around and give number 4, number 3, just like we normally do. And I'll start off with the special guest, the Grateful Dude, who's in my living room, and he can hear me through the wall. What's your number 5?
I don't know. I'm just so distracted about hearing your voice come up through the floor.
I mean,
Number
that would give
5.
me goosebumps too if I was hearing Mark come up through my floor.
Okay, my number 5 is Balderdash by Harry Chapin. This is a very interesting album. Cats in the Cradle was on it, which gives me goosebumps all over the place. It's just one of those songs that drives me crazy. But he did it before, a couple of years before Cat Stevens did Cats in the Cradle. He wrote it. And Balderdash is a very interesting album in that direction. It's got a lot of weird stuff on it.
So it's like a strange goosebumpy kind of feeling, but it's led by that track.
Yeah, it is, and that is led by that track. It's the only song that got any recognition at all. And then a couple years later, Whatchamacallit did it, and it just blew up.
Yeah, that's the crazy part, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff Young, you're number 5.
Well, I went with an obvious one here. For number 5, I went more of a theatrical, Abigail by King Diamond, 1987. It's really a horror story, the whole thing. It gives you the story in the beginning. It talks about an initial curse from the 1777, and there's a warning to a family that's going to the same house in 1845. Then you've got your haunting, gets to a climax, and then there's the end. But it's really just, it's a story. It's like, but it's a gruesome, it's grotesque, but very theatrical. So if it's not something you have heard before, the first time you hear it, it would take you back a little bit. You'd be oh, okay, this is different, having said that, it just, it's good, but I just think anybody who has never listened to that, first time you listen to it, you would probably get a goosebump or two just from the content, or even knowing it's fiction. It is kind of gory.
Okay. What year was that?
87.
87. Okay. So before the 90s. Susie.
So I didn't necessarily do like scary,
Right.
that kind of thing, because I was on another show, and those would probably be my goosebumpy one. So I kind of went with Goosebumps, like emotion and soul. So this album sounds ritualistic. It's got a lot of drums, choir, and the lead singer belts like she's leading a ceremony. It's dramatic, it's spiritual, and it's just a wide open type album. Florence and the Machine, The Ceremonials, 2011. And that is one of my sorry, I have a little cold going on, excuse me. But yeah, it's just a good album that kind of hits you. And
Cool.
I picked it.
Good album.
Yeah.
Alex.
So, for a weird reason, I'm going to go with the Foo Fighters, but here we are, recent album. Reason being, I personally struggle with this complex of when I find out there's a loss, I tend to look in every angle of it, especially if it's someone who has been so intricate to your life, as much as that band had been, and you, without knowing somebody, feel like you know them. I didn't think the album itself was by any stretch of the imagination something that I love or was good, but when you listen to it, it just gave me a personally goosebumps, just from the standpoint of feeling like I knew what it was about, who it was about. And it gave me a little bit of that shiver that there's something more to it that I felt resonated and was there longer than the presence of the person. So yeah, my number 5 is for a recent loss of a beloved drummer But Here We Are by the Foo Fighters.
I get that.
Yes.
Yep. There were several albums that I had on my list that I went, oh, wait a minute. That had me weeping. It had nothing to do with Goosebumps. So, that's a different kind of thing, right? Steve.
I like where Sue and Alex are going, because that's kind of what I did too with the Goosebump thought. It was less about being scared by something and more about albums that, kind of get you thinking, or, evoke an emotion, or, might take you back to something that's, something that's a little difficult, or to a time that you really enjoyed and you listen to the album because of that. My first one is, or my number 5, I should say, kind of got its roots through my love of blues music. Always a fan of the blues growing up, and that kind of came from my parents being huge blues fans. So I kind of grew up listening to B.B. King and Albert King and, so on and so forth. And as I got older, I became a fan of the Allman Brothers. And the first time I heard live at Fillmore East from 1971, hearing them take Southern rock and add a blues element, songs like Stormy Monday. At this point, anytime I put that album on, it's almost like a walk back in time to having my, favorite Southern rock band really dig deep into the blues. And that's kind of why I selected that. It's just one of those, it seems like every time I put it on, I get a, just a little, maybe a little emotion maybe of, how good it is, and kind of takes me back in time. So that's why I selected that album.
Yes.
Okay. I had my choice of two in this first round, and I'm going to tell you on the Goosebumps side, it's on a classical side. You know, how do you, when you get that feeling that like you're just like something is going on, you don't get to see what it is because, or have any expression of what's being told to you because there's no vocal. And then it's all done in that non-crunching, non-wickedness, or just piano and violin maybe, or some sort of composition. So I could have gone classical with just one player and one instrument, but the goosebump feeling is throughout this record completely and utterly because it takes classical to an entirely different position, and it has that haunting effect, and it has that bewilderment, and that's Olafur Arnalds and Alice Sarah Ott's The Chopin Project, and it is taking classical to a level that it doesn't have. He is interpreting Chopin and laying it down, but there are things in between in the ether of it, done by electronica, and of course what Olafur Arnalds does for soundtracks. So it has a soundscape even above what is intended by Chopin. This is this was supposed to be the future of classical, and I don't know if it actually held on, but I still think it's one of those records that I always put on. I'm just like always had that feeling of it, and so that's my number 5. Back to the Grateful Dude.
Yep. My next artist, unfortunately, we lost him a few months ago. And it was great sadness. And when I think of albums or songs that give me goosebumps, I think of Ozzy. And this album is Down to Earth by Ozzy. I picked it because I really like a couple of songs on it, like Facing Hell, which is a great song for this, and Running Out of Time.
Running Out of Time, yeah.
Yeah, it was great, great, great. He was a great musician. He will be sorely missed, and he's the best.
All right.
Yeah,
Jeff,
I got to see him a few times. I'd say, I think I saw him like 3 times alone and once with Black Sabbath.
I seen him with Black Sabbath many years ago.
I envy you both.
I tell you what, man, I think you'll agree with this, Jeff, but as a performer, as a front man, I've never seen anyone more aggressively encourage the audience to participate.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
So for mine, I kind of went with the similar thing. This is an album I just remember the first time I heard going, okay, this is a little bit disturbing. And I picked Rain of Blood by Slayer, 1986. You know, first of all, it's only a 29-minute album,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't have a break in any of the music. Really, it's a relentless. I guess you could say it's a musical assault. It's just very intense. It's got gory musical themes to the extreme, which kind of put, you know, what you thought at the time was maybe typical metal kind of over the top, and it's a bit overwhelming if you've never heard something like this before, like, you know, this typical speed metal. I mean, it is. Like, I think the next album, South of Heaven, is a better album, but you know, this is basically just throwing a tidal wave of sound at you so fast. Rick Rubin produced it, and he pushed the guitars and machine gun like drumming to the forefront, so it just like was constantly like coming at you. It's like a fire hose that never turns off. And you know, it's got, you know, pretty horrific lyrical content. The first song that drew the most attention was Angel of Death, but it's about a Nazi doctor, Joseph Mengele, at the Auschwitz concentration camps. But it was really intended when it was written as just a piece of history, but people thought they were trying to glorify it. but again, more themes of war and violence, and different themes of different songs were like, you know, gruesome ways to die, um, cannibalism, anti-religious, imagery, things like that. Just the idea, the intent of the album was to be as provocative as possible, which I think they succeeded. The one quote I saw from Kerry King, who's their lead guitarist and founder, said that the album is, he said, it's extreme. If it makes pop fans feel ill, we've done the job. So, you know, check that box.
Yeah.
But yeah, even when the first time I was listening to it, I was just like, all right, clearly this is not going to be my favorite band. I think they're really good, and I appreciate a lot of the songs, but it's not. They don't have any album I want to listen to front to back, but they do have some really good songs on some of the albums, which I think are really good. And they're pretty, well known throughout, hard music. But and of course their covers match the lyrics. They're very bloody and gory, and but yeah, but you listen to some of these. They're not. They're songs I like listening to, but they're not ones I'm going to sing along to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
not on your way to church anyway. Sue.
Me? Okay, number 4, I went with The Cure's Disintegration, 1989. It's kind of gloomy-ish, but beautiful, I think. Kind of a more serious album than some of the poppier stuff. I'm not a huge, I love some Cure, not a connoisseur of Cure, but I did like this album, and I read too that Robert Smith did want to make something that was a little heavier after some of the other stuff that they'd done. So
Certainly succeeded, that's for sure. Yeah. And
good.
the new record is just right there for sure.
Yeah.
Last year, right? Not this year, right? Last year.
I think it was last year, right?
Yeah. Alex.
Well, I swear that he does have a gun. Mostly because he did. I'm going to go with Nevermind by Nirvana.
Okay.
I say that album more so from the standpoint that I know he came out with releases after that, and I say he meaning Kurt Cobain during his alive time, we'll say. But hearing the lyrics to that album and alluding to what ended up happening, has always just raised a couple hairs on my neck. It's always been an album that stood with me from the standpoint of finality. Never mind the fact that it's just a damn good album otherwise. But it's always kind of raised a little bit of suspicion in me as a child. Hearing of the legend of him, and it's always made me inquire a little bit further too. So we'll go with Nevermind for my number 4 of what raises the goosebumps.
All right. Steve.
So my number 4, I never really thought of it as a Goosebump album until I saw them do a concert that celebrated the 25th anniversary of this album, and went back and listened to it after that show and realized kind of the depth of some of the songs in it, and kind of realizing the story of the 2 guys that are leading the band now, and the one that was, who I really like, who left the band in 2007. The album is Southern Rock Opera by the Drive-By Truckers. And it has, kind of an equal mix of some really good rocking songs on it, and some that really make you think and kind of go into some real depth. And it wasn't until I saw them and kind of heard the story of why they did what they did, and having listened to it plenty of times after, it's one of those, and that's kind of the theme with mine. They're real thought provoking. Where were they coming from when they put this album together, and what does it mean to me? So that was something I don't know if I hadn't seen them and then kind of went into depth as to what the album meant to them. I don't know that I'd have chosen it, but as a number 4, I think it makes sense for me. So Southern Rock Opera by the Drive-By Truckers, which is 26 years old now. So 1999.
Yeah.
Good selection.
Yeah. There's a lot of those records by them. There's always something in there.
And if you think of the story of all three, I mean, Patterson Hood, Mike Cooley, and Jason Isbell, I mean, they all have, fantastic together, had their demons, kind of went their separate ways.
Yeah.
But boy, when they were together, holy cow, can they play? And still do.
Yep. There's something. So last year, and there's not many over the last few decades, maybe. Well, the last 10 years, maybe. That have really led me to that goosebumpy moment. When I talk about things like that, that's things like if we did this by song, it would be different. The Roof is Leaking by Phil Collins, maybe on face value. Okay. That's got that chilling piano, and the roof is, maybe that's got a goosebumpy kind of feel. Songs and stuff. But this particular album last year is a desert psychedelic romp to somewhere. I don't know where. The goosebumpian idea of this is, why am I here? Why am I listening to it? And it just became this haunting thing all year after reviewing the album. Dan also reviewed the album with me. I was, and you're kind of taken back by how much this album lingers long after the play, long after the discussions and the lyrics that are going on in this. I won't give them to you. I think you want to go back to this one last year. This is Mario Lally and the Rubber Snake Charmers. The album is called Folklore from the Other Desert Cities. And Mario Lally is a vocal contortionist of just poetic and storytelling, and maybe matter of fact, but it's got this desert psych 70s, late 60s, and then it changes and it morphs, and you don't know where you are. You don't know why you're there. And it gives you that creep factor that the goosebumps rise. And
not for nothing, great album name. Or great
band name, album name. Yeah. And all it is like on the cover, it's just them kind of distorted on there. It's not, but it's, somebody said something about them being desert wizards, and maybe, but it's an interesting record that is not in the norm. This isn't an album that's going to get played on radio. It's just not. And there's only, was it 4 or 5 tracks on the entire album? 4 tracks, every one of them about 8 to 10 minutes long.
I mean, that's borderline EP, but okay.
So that's from March of 2024 last year, and one of the albums of the year we had. Back to the Grateful Dude.
Yeah, well, this one is not particularly my favorite artist. He's dead too. The Day of the Dead or something.
Picking up a theme here.
Yeah, I guess so. But he's done so many hits, and this album I'm talking about, he's got lots of hits on. I'm talking about Michael Jackson's Thriller. It's the kind of album that invokes my emotions. I really like the album. I wish he would have done this album and done nothing else, but that's me.
Vincent Price, baby.
Beat It, Billie Jean, Thriller, Human Nature. They're all good songs, and but I think Thriller invokes the most emotions for me, and the name Thriller just puts an exclamation point in what we're talking about. It's a thriller.
Okay.
And Jeff Young, if you would have known Morse code, you would have known a while ago that was coming out. And why?
Mr. Young.
Well, so I mean, my version of Goosebumps was thinking more along the line of the storybooks, so they're the movie, just scary stuff. So I'm kind of sticking with the last three. I'm going to pick are, I guess, known albums, but maybe if you knew the backstory, you might think more Goosebump thoughts of it. So picking Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath by Black Sabbath, 1973. To kind of get away from LA and where it's so easy to get access to booze and drugs and trouble and stuff like that. They went to Clearwell Castle. I think that's in England. It's a Gothic house, and they rehearsed in the armory and in the dungeon. And one night, Tony Iommi was with Ozzy in a corridor, and they thought they saw some image or some person in a cloak. They followed it to a dead end hall, and then the image was gone. So then Geezer Butler had the same eerie feeling. He actually slept with a dagger under his pillow during the recording. And he said that it had some atmosphere, but it also helped bring them to a place where they could be a little more creative too. And but yeah, so all that to say, it sounds like they rehearsed in a haunted dungeon.
Let's see. That would be Sue next, right? You've switched your
Yes.
position.
All right, so I was gonna go with Bjork, Vespertine, 2001, but at the last minute here, I was undecided, and I'm kicking Bjork out, although it is a goosebumpy album and beautiful, and so many little tiny little things she did to make it so very detailed. But anyway, I'm going with Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe. Just kind of, I mean, yes, it goes right into the theme of scary goosebumpies, but as opposed to Jeff Slayer that you don't want to sing along to, this one is gory, but he makes it fun to sing along, I think.
Groovy.
Right?
Groovy, baby.
Groove metal.
It's a fun, hard rock, gross, wonderful.
Yeah. Gross and wonderful.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm giving it to him.
All right.
I won't watch his movies though.
No. Alex.
Something to be said about what Sue just said, because I mean, it's not my choice. Trying to purposefully omit it off this list, I guess, in a way, but it's a phenomenal album. My number 3 comes in as The Wall.
Oh.
Never heard of
it. Well, if you go 3 feet behind your current head and just stick your ear up to it, you'll hear a lot. No, I've always thought that Pink Floyd has a very ominous tone to their music. I only chose this album for one song and one song alone, and it's Comfortably Numb.
Yep.
And the reason being is that my best friend's father, we were probably somewhere between 10 and 12 years old and driving in the old Pontiac van. And my best friend's father goes, "My funeral, I want you guys to play this." And I remind him every time it comes on the radio that, "Bill, I fucking hate you because you've ruined this song forever for me since the age of 10 to 12. Because now every time I hear Comfortably Numb, I go, "Damn it, Bill, I'm thinking of your funeral 20 years before it ever friggin' happens." So Goosebumps for me are the fact that one song now, based on one person's comment, can bring that out of me. But as much as I say The Wall because of one song and then I relate it to one album, I'm also pretty much going to file this under Pink Floyd being my number 3 because, again, I think there's songs that they have created that give an undertone that can just, whether it's a finality or a horror or a seriousness of matter, because I feel the same vibe from listening to Pigs from them, of an ominous nature of the sound. They just raise something out of you. So maybe we'll just say Pink Floyd as a whole on number 3 for me, at least.
Alex, that makes me think of like someday if we outlive Mark, someone's going to read his will to us and it's going to be like, and Mark has asked Alex to listen to these 4 albums and give his synopsis, and then Stu's going to be targeting these 5 albums, and we're going to bring them all together, and then we're going to have an album war at the funeral itself.
And I'm going to be sitting there in the back corner with bison dip and a salt and vinegar and Dorito going, fucking what do you want me to
They will already be put together at that point. They'll be packaged and
I don't
tied
worry
very
about it. I'll
nicely.
be dead by then. So
Yes. Meanwhile, we're wondering what the dude's going to be doing at the same time. And he's just like, fuck it. I'm already out.
Jeff's going to be there going, I never thought I'd be here for this, but here I am.
Jeff and I are going to be at Mark's funeral going, man, the Sabres still suck? Fuck.
Yeah, Alex, put that in your calendar. Mark's funeral is going to be in about 8 weeks from now. I'm just saying.
8 weeks from now?
Oh my God, if we hit 7 6/7, I'm going to be pissed at you.
Steve, on the note of my demise forthcoming.
Or Mark's just sitting over here going, really? I'm going to die, guys? Thanks.
Know where to go from that.
No,
one man's demise is another man's legacy.
Yeah, that's right.
So at the risk of sounding like a Springsteen song, I met my wife in college, and we gravitated to this band right away because their seminal album was released while we were in college. And we loved this band, and I got the pleasure, unfortunately she did not, but I got the pleasure of seeing them in 2018 when they toured the anniversary of this album. And
I always knew it would be the Backstreet Boys. You guys were college young.
Exactly. I can't hear this song without thinking of back to all that time, and it is the Joshua Tree by U2.
Pretty awesome.
It's not only is it just a wonderful album, it's a thought-provoking album. As you know, as Bono is a thought-provoking individual. But that's one that, you know, every time I hear it, I think back to I have wonderful memories of the band and that concert, and it's phenomenal. And as soon as this topic came up, I knew it was on the list, but number 3 for me is Joshua Tree.
Right. Yeah, there's something to be said.
I'm just happy to know that you were in college during the Joshua Tree because I was in high school, so now I know you're older than me.
Yes. I was in college for the Joshua Tree.
Yeah, there's something to be said about our attachment too to those live shows and how the Goosebump, because it takes you back to
I have two of them where I can go to a live show and go, well, in the case of the Drive-By Truckers, it was, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this is what it does. But with U2, I mean, it's been there since 1987. So,
well, and to a similar point, I know I mentioned Nevermind as being one of my albums, but if I'm being honest, it was Nirvana's Unplugged session that gave me chills just knowing that that's probably the closest I was ever going to come to seeing Kurt Cobain perform.
Right.
In being a 93 born person that had to discover Nirvana, whereas I know literally everyone on this panel lived through its release.
Yep.
that was something for me that came about as new, and it was chilling to watch somebody perform what I knew was I'm never going to see this again. That was the closest I ever came to a live performance of them, really. So,
Alex, I've probably said this before, but I'll say it again. Nirvana is the reason I will actually go to a concert alone because I wanted to go see them at UB. I didn't have it, couldn't find anyone to go with me. I'm like, I'll come, I'll go see them next time. There was no next time. So now I'm not missing anybody that I want to see from now
Right.
on. If no one wants to go, I will go alone.
Right.
well, Jeff, if it helps, I would have gone and seen them with you.
It doesn't help. But
Whether or not you would have gone with me is a different story, but I would have gone and seen them with you.
Well, he
Sounds
would
good to me.
he would have thought that I would have gone, but I was that record never did it for me. I agree where it stands in that Testament of Time. I liked In Utero better. Thought it was a better record. But it was the Unplugged and their covers of David Bowie and the Meat Puppets that elevated the chill
And the lead belly song. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Was that Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam? Was that
the greatest Unplugged song ever? I mean, he did such a good job with that song.
And well picked, right?
Yeah.
Lead belly.
Yeah.
Well, they picked everything out of that between mixing their own music and the covers. They picked everything out of that so well. But you know what's ironic is as much as I own that concert on DVD over here, it's not about what they chose. It was all of the little side dialogue throughout that.
Yeah. If you really want to get goosebumps, go back and listen to Leadbelly's version of that.
Version, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually gonna get to that mindset here in mind.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick this album. It would be the only, but I went with Mario Lalli and because of the haunt of the psychedelic. But I will tell you this, that last week I and Deb followed along because you had no choice. I attacked the people that said Motown is dead. And I did it with 3 albums. And I'm just sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing that there's nobody doing this. No, you can go back in time. You get all excited about your Commodores and your and Martha and the Vandellas and whatever, the secrets of Motown. And it's not available. And Stevie Wonder and Smokey Robinson. But this Robert Finley, the 71-year-old blues guitarist, has lived his life at war and family and busking on the streets of Louisiana and Arkansas. And you know how people go, I was blind, but now I see? He was literally blind. All right. And this album that's out now that was produced by Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys is the album of the year right now, bar none. And it's because of that goosebump feel when he's singing about God, when he's singing about the spirit and spiritualization of life and celebratory of it and thanking no matter what. You know how Robert Downey Jr. said he would never do it over differently to get to where he was, even though what he went through? Robert Finley is that guy, and Robert Finley isn't holding billions of dollars in the King of Marvel. So that's the goosebump. And you know what? I'm going to say that's my number 3 anyway, because I went that far, but I would also encourage you to check out an all-instrumental band called Explosions in the Sky and their beautiful record that gives me goosebumps every time I play it. A little tear, maybe too. All of a sudden, I Miss Everyone. And the musical choices and the depth of recording and how they change things. And there's a haunting drum in Welcome Ghosts. Great record too. So there's my number 3. You pulled it out of me. Good lead in, Steve.
Thank you.
That was a fun journey into that one.
Chef Jeff.
Okay, my next album, we're gonna revisit somewhere we visited before, but without the Aussie.
Is it a double revisiting?
We're talking about Black Sabbath.
Okay.
And the first album they did after Ozzy split was Heaven and Hell. Now I actually,
look at you.
yeah, look at me. I actually saw Black Sabbath on the second for the second time when they did this album, and I thought it was terrific. It definitely embarks the Halloween spirit and stuff. Lady Evil,
Ronnie James
Die
Dio.
Young,
Yeah, James Dio.
Heaven and Hell is a great album, and I can't say enough about it. Ronnie James Dio did a good job of replacing Ozzy. I get a lot of feedback on that, negatively, but it's still a very good album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like I get to see when they had the Heaven and Hell tour, I don't know, maybe 10 or so years ago, maybe a little more. It was, and they played most of the Heaven and Hell songs, but they played a lot of the Ronnie James Dio Sabbath songs, and they still sounded amazing. It was awesome. I was just, that's the only time I got to see Dio. I never saw him solo, but it was just great to see him live. It was awesome.
Yeah, Dio was a good singer.
One of my favorite songs, Rainbow in the Dark.
Singing from the cockles of his heart. That guy.
The cockles.
I don't even know where they're located, but anyway. Jeff Young.
What are we at? Number 2 or something like that?
Numero dos.
Number 2.
Well, I'm a fan of the Downward Spiral from 1994, Nine Inch Nails, and it's a your dark industrial album. It's somewhat groundbreaking for that genre. But then when you realize how it was recorded, it gives you a little different tone. So they recorded the album in the infamous La Pig house in Los Angeles, where the Manson family murdered Sharon Tate and 4 others in '9. So Reznor rented the house as a studio and was apparently unaware of its history at first.
Really?
But then Reznor said he even thought he found some blood still in the house. But Reznor decided to move out of the house after Sharon Tate's sister contacted him and expressed that she was disgusted that she thought he was trying to take advantage of the house, for his career. So he agreed that, he didn't realize what it really meant. And so they left and they went to finish recording somewhere else. But because he wasn't intending, it didn't sound like he really wanted to profit from his sister's death or her sister's death. But yeah, just a weird place to be recording. I mean, a lot of people pick weird things for inspiration, but I find it pretty ridiculous. You didn't know where you were recording.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
Especially in that scenario, yes.
Yeah.
Grateful Dude, how far was that from your house where you lived?
Say that again.
How far was that house from where you lived?
About 2 blocks, 3 blocks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The album itself, it follows the a person's, descent into psychological and spiritual decay, as I wrote here from the internet. But and it's got narratives that explore themes of depression, addiction, and self-destruction, which is kind of what Trent Reznor was going through at that time too. But yeah, just a weird scenario that is kind of like cringy.
Yeah.
Cringy.
A lot of goosebumps in dance clubs. Susie Q.
So my number 2, I went with Billie Holiday's Lady in Satin. This came out in 1958. I know I usually go with her collections, but this is for me. Well, she's always sounding haunting, but this one definitely I think comes across as grittier and rougher, and I don't think there's a song that she sings where you don't feel the emotion, and I don't know anybody else who's ever captured that like she has, just my opinion, but and she makes it sound beautiful, and it's not a turn off, but she put her whole self into it, and
Yeah.
yeah.
There's an Of Sound Minds discussion. Are there other people that have done that, made that impression, left that impression? Alex.
So similar to what Jeff Young was saying, on the notes of what the album was about, themes of darkness, depression, along those lights. Didn't realize this would be a goosebump raising album for me, probably until again the finality of it. Super Unknown by Soundgarden.
Yeah.
I mean,
Super awesome.
I was considering it.
Exactly. And when you look at the themes of songs like The Day I Tried to Live, like Suicide, Black Hole Sun, Fell on Black Days, Head Down, Limo Wreck. I mean, shit, it's just, it all ventures down that kind of realm. And I mean, granted, again, I mentioned the last track, and it is exactly what it was. I don't know. It raises goosebumps just from the standpoint of you listen to an album, you like it, you acknowledge its darkness and everything that it invokes in it that makes you not want to listen to it as a pleasant keep around album, but it's just so damn good. Like it hits in that regard too for me. So that was an easy number 2 for me. I'll put it this way: my number 1 was an immediate thought. This being number 2 was very quickly thought of, and 3 through 5 I had to stretch a little bit to figure out what I was going to put here. But so this goes first in the realm of an obvious choice for me.
That is one of the greatest depressional albums.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, are you going to take us to a depressing place?
Not depressing. Certainly Goosebumps. And certainly a lot of times through my college days when listening to this album, it was more it might have been an evening of indulgence, but
a lot of accounting paperwork. Yeah, got it.
Or a lack thereof. I'll steal a page from Alex, but I won't use the same album. My number 2 is Dark Side of the Moon by Floyd.
Okay.
I thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand the wall. Like, I mean, to your point earlier, Floyd. I mean, you don't really need to say much more. It's thought provoking. It's goosebump inducing. It's all those things. And it's really any album. I just kind of flew to Dark Side of the Moon because it was maybe the one I've listened to the most. But yeah, it was. And to your point earlier too, as well, Alex, when I had a number 1, it was number 1 with a bullet. And Floyd or Dark Side of the Moon was a solid 2, and the rest of them I had to kind of dig a little deeper. But yeah, I'm good with Dark Side of the Moon.
I think it's funny you mentioned that album, and one of the creepiest, and we'll get away from the goosebumps of the depression side or the sadness side. We'll get back to the goosebumps of the season we're in. One of the funnest things I've ever done is doing Dark Side of the Rainbow. Have any of you ever done that?
No.
I don't think so.
Is that a drug? What is that?
I'll put it this way. It's the most that you can come to doing drugs while being sober that you'll ever get. It's when you play the original Wizard of Oz and you play...
I've heard of this.
Okay.
Dark Side of the Moon.
I thought it was a Skittles commercial. All right.
No, I've heard of it. Yes.
Fuck, I wish that was all it was.
My
Play-
generation would have
play-
never gone for it.
What you have to play the Dark Side of the Moon and the Wizard of Oz simultaneously,
Right.
and when the record stops, you have to restart it again
Yep.
and play it throughout the movie, but play the movie with no audio.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, if you're
My number.
have a night to burn, it's a fun one to do.
So my number 2 was the funny enough, one of the first ones that came to mind. I didn't think it would be number 1, but it definitely gave me goosebumps the first time I heard it, and every time I hear it, they're fourth. This is a musical impression, a soundscape, and an incredible decision to take on sounds in electric and acoustic guitar, and mesh it into a city where the dead outnumber the living. And this is Buckethead's Coma.
Oh,
And I need not say any more, just the way he plays. It is not one of those albums where it's phantasmagora, flickety pickety. It is a real
Wiggity-piggity.
emotional movement.
Wiggity-piggity.
Lickety pickety.
wiggity.
So I'll make that one easy. Over to the Grateful Dude for his numero uno.
Uno.
Uh,
Well,
Oh,
I'm
it's the
gonna-
Grateful Dead. God damn it.
Well,
well, this album I listened to more than any other album ever.
Oh, it's the Grateful Dead. Damn it.
Gotta be.
yeah.
It's 1971. Skull and Roses.
Take Manhattan.
This this album brings goosebumps all over the place for me, all over. It's from Bertha to playing in a band, and the best version of the other one I've ever heard. They were rocking. I saw them in 71, and they did they never did tour songs, they didn't believe in tours. But this is a really hot
Goosebumper. So
it's
does
just hot, baby.
does the goosebump on this for you come with not only just the first time you heard that record? Obviously there was an expectation because it wasn't their first record, and then seeing them live, is it all it's memory too?
I see them live. I saw them live before I heard the album.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
And they are, if you never saw them, you don't know what I'm talking about. That thing, you gotta see them. I wouldn't see them now in the place they're in. Without Jerry, they're really nothing. But in my books, they're the best band of all time. But fortunately, music is very subjective.
Yeah. Steve, do you second that motion?
I have seen them with Jerry and without. I love the Dead. I've seen all the incarnations of them. The album is fantastic. They're not my all-time favorite band.
But I mean, from a standpoint of that era, that time.
Yeah. Having seen them, I agree wholeheartly with Jeff. It's hard to have a perspective of them if you haven't. Yeah, it's different. And before I saw him for the first time in '89, and then I saw him again in '93. And again, I was relatively young and kind of got into them in college. And I was a fan, and then I saw them, and then I became addicted. Yeah.
Well, I saw them the first time
addicted to it, so that just added that to it.
I saw them for the first time in 1970. So we're looking at
almost 20 years later.
Mr. Young, number one.
All right. Well, I picked the band that Alex already picked. I went with 1993's In Utero, Nirvana, their third and final album. So some people would it's easy to look back on it in hindsight and say that the album had kind of captured internal conflicts and pressures of the band's frontman, Kurt Cobain, as he died less than a year after that album's release, because he was spiraling and battling heroin addiction and depression. So again, looking back on it, it's easy to say, oh, well, you look at the content of the songs and such, it's easy to think that, it was a cry for help that no one could answer. Yeah, I mean, even the album art is, everything really is kind of a deliberate contrast to the polished Nevermind that was, had a lot of commercial success. It's got the translucent mannequin with the angel wings against a cracked yellow background, which kind of looks like, sick skin or something broken. And even the back cover shows fetuses scattered on a woodland ground. The themes and the lyrics are about, the rejection or casting out of things that are considered disgusting, sickness, death, breakdown of the body, personal struggle. Like Cobain's lyrics talk about, his struggles with fame, his marriage, relationship with his father, difficulty adjusting to public life, and some of the songs have disturbing topics, like Rape Me and things like that. But, and it's a much more abrasive sound, unlike that polished sound we were talking about earlier. A less commercial sound. He kind of just like rebelling against everything he had struggles with, and but yeah, like I said, just to have something like, it's easy to look back at it and go, yeah, he was like seriously having problems, like, and it got the best of him, I guess.
Sue, you're number one. Oh no, he's strapping on the latex gloves.
I know. I'm ready to
staying
run for
downstairs.
it.
Good luck, Sue.
What are you talking about, Mark? You're next.
Oh, shit. Oh, now I
Sue's
tell
close
OJ.
enough so you can hear the snap of the glove.
Tell
Yeah,
OJ.
Does it fit?
Dude,
Like
you
glove,
have
baby.
the door to run. Mark doesn't. Go.
Sue, you're number one.
Okay. Oh wow. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me tonight because I'm struggling here.
How dare you?
And also,
bear with Jeff giving
Jeff.
Mark a prostate exam in about 5 minutes. So
No.
Live on.
Oh my gosh! Don't even start that, please.
I'll
I'm
cue
here with
up the
them tonight.
Matmos record.
the future is X-ray.
Oh Lord. Alex, we're sending him to your house. No, but happy birthday to Jeff because it is Jeffrey's birthday tonight, and you did an incredible job. I'm always blown away by all your factoids and knowledge,
I mean,
Factoids.
research, and passion. So,
And the way you held yourself in the one corner for a bit that it actually looked like you froze and then your eyes moved. It's
oh
great.
really?
Yeah, I'm not going to edit that out. It was both chilling, goosebumpy, and creepy. So it was excellent.
how are you going to edit out Chef Jeff's bottom half of his face only seen in like that last?
Oh my gosh.
I hope he doesn't.
It's just like, was it like, what was it, Detective Head? Living color.
All right, listen, I want to talk about something really serious and important right now. So if you could just bear with me.
It's the opposite of the guy from Home Improvement when he only shows this much
Yeah.
of his face over
Wilson.
the fence.
Wilson.
This much of Chef Jeff's.
All right.
Next show, we're all gonna like, because he's here for the week. So if somebody could, that's it. That's what I was looking for. Jeff got it. We can all be like puzzle pieces.
Welcome to Beyond Your Radio.
I'm the mouth. This is the eye. Oh, the hell with having.
Or it's like, it's like, hi, I'm Jeff. I'm Jeff Crichton, like way in the corner.
You're gonna have to do a lot of editing, Mark.
On the leg.
off the rails. Okay. Yeah.
You were
This is a
saying?
live show.
Yes, Sue, would you like to? And yes,
Yeah, let me
Thank you.
finish before I die.
Sue was telling
yes.
everyone what a great job I did. Go, keep going, Sue.
Yeah, you're an incredible human being, and we're graced to have your presence with us tonight.
I'm getting goosebumps.
It's your birthday.
Thanks,
so-
Mom.
All right, I'm gonna end this for myself here.
Yes.
My number one, I went over to the cinema for my last goosebumpy masterpiece, and I do love my sci-fi. And I'd forgotten about this one, so went back to it, and it's still beautiful. Great movie, great cast. It was Hans Zimmer's Interstellar.
Ah. Yeah.
And if you haven't watched it in a while, like go back and take a watch. And
Actually, watched it for the first time a couple months ago.
really, what'd you think?
It was good.
It was just good. That's it.
It was a good movie.
It was good. Okay. But that's what I went with, and
Excellent choice.
I'm done. So peace out.
That might be Zimmer's best work, really, right?
I mean,
Really?
he's done a lot of good stuff, but yes, it was beautiful.
I don't know. I felt connected. That music had to hold a lot of space
Yes.
in the motion picture. I think, because there's no people, there's no, All right,
my
that's
gosh.
Alex next, right?
My album was an absolute no-brainer for me, given this topic. It was Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold. I have gone down the rabbit hole of this album beyond measure. Don't know if it's my experience with the topic of and what it related to, but this album being a borderline concept album of the loss of their drummer. It took me the last track of the album that they produced what was intended, which was Fiction, not track 11 Save Me, but Fiction. When the story behind it, for those who don't know, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan turned it in around Christmas to the band and said, "This is it, the last track. The album's set, good to go." Mind you, as a drummer, he wrote a good chunk of their songs. 3 days later, he died after he handed that in, saying it was the last track for the album. I have listened to that song trying to pick out the pieces that are his vocals because they left some of them in. I've listened to that, hearing how eerie and haunting the piano sounds in it, how future telling it seems of a song itself. And then you go back and listen to the rest of that album and the concept of it, from Nightmare to So Far Away was written in his honor, which was put in the middle of that album. Nightmare, Welcome to the Family, Buried Alive, Victim, Tonight the World Dies. It's such a, for that to be your last album and to be your legacy, it raises hairs to think about that one for me. And so if I ever want that album that really both gives me goosebumps, evokes emotion, it was so hard for me to come up with another album that even remotely came close to this. This album, by and large, just sends me to another dimension of just thinking of the result of it. And this was a no-brainer, number one. It's one of the first ones that can sadness and mystery. I think that's really where the difference in lies, the mystery behind it. Because it felt so much like someone who knew what was coming and no one else did, until then you hear the end product and went, did they? Which is honestly one of the coolest ways to go out, if I'm going to be honest. Sounds like a hell of a way. in the sense of if that's going to be my legacy, is to hear a product that was so well done that makes you wonder. Shit, that's pretty awesome.
That's deep. That's deep. But I get it. Steve.
Okay, I'll try to keep this short, but it might take a second. I moved to Buffalo in 92 and met a group of friends in 95 that I played softball with. One of those gentlemen and I are both enormous fans of the same person. And we went to see he and his band a number of times before he passed away. He, the person, not he, the band member or the singer, in 2015. So this album with me and him go back a long way. We went to tons of concerts together to see them. The last show that he and I went to see them, my ticket to that show is in his pocket somewhere up in heaven. The album that this band put together was a tribute in large part to what happened in 9/11. So every 9/11, I listen to this album and I think of what happened that day, and I think of my friend, and it's The Rising by Bruce Springsteen. It is thought-provoking. There's high-spirited songs. There's songs that take you to a deep depth. But every 9/11, I listen to it, and I, believe it or not, happily listen to it. I feel pretty fortunate that I've got an album of that magnitude by one of my favorite performers that, you know, takes me to a spot back to the memories that I have, the good ones with my friend and the deep ones that go with all of us when it comes to 9/11. So to have that, I feel is a gift. And I look at The Rising as by far the album that gives me the biggest goosebumps. So
Yeah. I was hoping there was going to be somebody that brought an album that I had like missed.
yeah.
And that is definitely up there. That, you know, Neil Young didn't do an album. He only did a song that, you know.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, with the re-release of Nebraska, that album, I mean, that is a deep, deep, deep album. And it was a deep album back in 82. And Springsteen was in a dark place when he wrote it. And yeah, that's another one, but not for me personally, not to the level that this is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great choice.
Thank you
Absolute
for sharing
choice.
that.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's an unreal vocal impression that leaves me at my number one. Haunting lyrically, as well as a daunting in its imagery, kind of set through her range, disturbing pitch at some cases of it seems uncomfortable eternity. It kind of lends an alternativeness into an eerie place that alternative had really never been. And it's a very unsettling place. And that could only be delivered by Heather Nova and her album from 1994, Oyster. There's a song that starts with a very difficult octave that she pulls off at concerts, and she warns the people every time. It seems like, oh, see if I can pull this off. It's just there are lyrical choices that are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Damning to the male ego and the male versus female relationship and her memories and the idiot boys and her world. And this album always gives me goosebumps. Those, just to give you the track list, to give you an idea of how this kind of runs. Walk This World was the only single that made radio play, and that doesn't have to do with much other than the fact that the rest of the stuff is not. going to hit radio because of the lyrical damnation of things. But she has Sugar, which wasn't even on the first European release. Truth and Bone, Blue, Black, and then of course she does Truth and Throwing Fire at the Sun, and this is the record that gives me the goosebumps. That are like, how people's lives are tattered and kind of distorted by other people and their lack
Guilty.
of so that is my number one. I don't have any honorable mentions. This was kind of where I wanted to leave it for just me. But if people have something that they want to bring, they could certainly say so now.
Me either.
No, it was tough trying to find 5, actually.
I felt very similar.
Yeah.
Well, I will thank the panelists for doing this tonight on this October 30th. Yes, Jeff Young's birthday. He was sung to today too. It was a wonderful day. What were your albums that give you goosebumps? What did we miss? What would make your list? We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Articles, videos, podcasts coming soon. All about albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Go Beyond Your Radio with us. Join myself, the Grateful Dude, and Damn this Saturday for Album Review Saturday, episode 44. There's going to be grass. Thanks for watching. Happy listening.